Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Grit and Equity Talks podcast with yours truly, Dr. India White. I hope you guys are doing wonderful today. I hope that things are lining up for you, that you're remaining gritty, especially you educators, administrators, as you are finishing up the school year. I know many of us have had our children cross over, graduation to the next grade, going to college, going to high school, going to middle school. So many fun transitions in the works. So I wish you all the best with all of those transitions and that you can remain gritty, and even over the summer that you're able to really take advantage of various opportunities to help students get ahead. Now, before we get started, I do want to make some announcements. First things first, the Grit and Equity Talks podcast with Dr. India White will be featured on the X Factor EDU network, hosted by Dr. Matthew Joseph and the team, and it can be found on Spotify. I also wanted to encourage you to follow me whenever you get a chance. My LinkedIn is the India White. Twitter is Indy Speak and Teach. Instagram is Indy238. YouTube channel is India White 123. TikTok is Dr. India White. Threads is Indy238. And I'm just happy to be here with you guys. Thanks so much for the following. Thank you for those that have been supportive of various works. Speaking of that, I do want to make the announcement of the Grit Mini Workshop on the Grassroots Workshop website. Thank you to those that have already gone through and gotten your copy of the workshop, and those that have been leaving feedback as well. We appreciate that very much. And thank you, Robert and team, for the opportunity. I also want to encourage you guys, whenever you get a chance, to do whatever you can to check out my website, which is www.india-white.com. If you're wanting to look for blogs or books, or if you're wanting to schedule me for an event, thank you to those that have been putting your orders in for the Grit workbooks, whether it's Grit workbook for teachers. I've had some people do combination of Grit workbooks for teachers and students and things like that. Thank you for those that are also ordering the Grit workbook for parents. And if you are having plans, whether it's this summer to do some PD around it, or if you're wanting to do some, family planning or something like that, just know I am available for you. I am looking forward to seeing you guys at various events. I'm thankful to Savas for the event we just had the other day that they're spearheading in Clark County. Thank you for having us. Thank you to FCTM. I will be there in June. Also look out for the Dimensions article. We have some different works coming out there as well. I'll be seeing many of you rock stars at the CAMPS conference in July in Texas. We'll also be preparing for NCSM and NCTM and ICTM, and there are other conferences coming up as well that we are squeezing within this time frame, still getting many asks and offers and opportunities. And I want to thank all of you from the bottom of my heart. Let's get together. Let's be gritty. Let's have a good time. Let's make this make sense so that we can continue to support teachers and students alike. So this podcast, again, is about if you are trying to close the achievement gap, but you're having classroom management issues, or if your students aren't motivated to do the work, then join the Grit and Equity Talks podcast. We're going to be talking about various subject matters that will help you. And with that said, I do want to go right into the topic for today, which will be gritty perseverance success stories, because so many times it's like when you're throughout the school year, you wonder whether or not students have been gritty, if things are going to pay off, and what that really looks like. And so I was able to come up with a couple of success stories that I found that were very inspiring, and they just kind of put a little fire under you. Like, you know what? It does pay off to help these students to cultivate their grit. It does pay off. And I'm telling every single one of you, educators, administrators, leaders, superintendents, wherever you are in the ranking, you matter and your impact matters. And thank you from the bottom of my heart for the work that you have done to cultivate grit in students and to help them. Now, if you don't know what grit is, I have told you a plethora of times on this show. Grit is defined by Dr. Angela Duckworth, who wrote a whole book about it, as the passion and perseverance to obtain a long-term goal. And I have come up with an acronym that helps us, which I think is kind of cute. It's great resilience in time. But perseverance goes with grit. And so if you're like, well, what is perseverance? It's just your ability to stick it out and to push through. And I was able to actually come up with a little
perseverance. Look it up in a dictionary and you'll find that it's a very active word. It's a process as well as a personal quality. As the Oxford English Dictionary has it, the steadfast pursuit of an aim, especially in the face of difficulty or obstacles. It's about goal direction, having a vision and the desire to complete it, no matter what gets in the way. The strength of your vision and desire to achieve your goal are essential to maintaining the ability to persevere.
I'm going to stop there. I think that was really neat what he said. The strength of your vision and desire to achieve your goal are essential in maintaining the ability to persevere. Again, the strength of your vision and your desire to achieve your goal, those two things. If you're looking for perseverance, that strength of the vision. So what is the vision, right? And then the desire to achieve a goal. That's essential for being able to maintain the ability to persevere. And of course, doing that by being resilient. Now let's keep going.
They give you the resilience to absorb change and the inevitable setbacks you'll encounter and bounce back through change and adaptation. After all, U.S. President Abraham Lincoln wrote to one of his son's friends who was discouraged and said, "You cannot fail if you resolutely determine that you will not fail."
Wow, look at that. You cannot fail if you resolutely determine that you will not fail. So it's all about mindset, that growth mindset. There you go with Dr. Carol Dweck. It's just repeating the same mantra of it's all in your hands. It's up to you what you decide to do and how you decide to recycle your life. Right?
It's also trust. Trust that through your own will and with the help of others, you'll achieve your goal. Seek out positive people who will encourage you and tell you when you're going wrong. If you trust them, you'll listen to them and benefit from their advice.
This is great. And I want to say, as we are helping students, they're going to definitely need us to help them and to give them advice, especially whenever we are wise enough to see that they might be going in a direction that's not best fit for them. We have to be tactful as to how we're doing this and have much wisdom as we're loving our kids and helping them. So I want to just encourage all of you to continue to motivate students and give them advice, being able to give constructive feedback in a way that is not going to tear them down and rip them to shreds, because you do want them to win. And, if you can't see yourself wanting a student to win, then I would say, maybe dismiss your stuff, stage left, so that someone else can come in and help them. Because, you might not have the vibe that you need with a particular student or individual, but, somebody else around the way might be able to do the job that you're hoping to do, but maybe they could just do it in a way that's more crafty. And so, be mindful of that too. You might not be able to help everyone. So help those that you can. And for those that you can't, see if you can pair them up with, someone that, is a better fit as well. So, all right, let's keep going. Let's look here and see what else he was going.
Perseverance isn't all or nothing. It's about balance. You can't work at 100% capacity all the time. You need rest and change. If you conserve your energy and recharge your batteries regularly, you will be more effective.
And so for all you gritty rock stars out there that are running businesses, doing so many different things, and you're like, oh, I don't need sleep, I only sleep on 2 hours, I want to encourage you with that to find your balance so that you don't burn out.
Perseverance is important to every aspect of our lives, at home, at work, with our friends, families, and colleagues. At work, perseverance can allow you to change the way your business works, or achieve a new culture within a department, or even transform the products and services you deliver. As long as you have goal direction, trust in your own abilities and in others, the resilience to weather challenges and setbacks, while maintaining your balance, there is nothing stopping you from becoming a steadfast and admired leader in your organization.
And I want to say something about that too. Like he was talking about, like having that trust in order to persevere. And that's pretty powerful, because it seems like the more trust you have in someone or in an idea or whatnot, your willingness to persevere and remain resilient on behalf of a vision or whatever that's been established, it enhances, right? Because you're like, well, I trust that person, or I trust this. So, but if you're the type of person that you don't trust anyone or whatever, I want to encourage you to see how can you change that narrative of your life so that you can continue to move forward with other rock stars in your area, and be open to change, be open to something different, because it might be the best thing for you. So that was pretty great. So that was talking to us about perseverance. And so I want to now talk about some success stories about gritty perseverance and some students that have graduated from high school, things like that, and just what that looks like in their lives. So I'm going to share a couple of stories with us so we can celebrate these learners. I'll share the one from last year and what he did.
Dylan's teen is making national news for breaking records on how many colleges wanted to give him scholarships.
This is such a cool story. And today he made his choice known to everyone. Meg Ferris was there when he announced his decision and joins us live here in the studio. Meg.
It is cool. It's impressive. At 1.5, he was hooking up the VCR in his parents' home. In third grade class, presentation was not with a poster and drawings, but rather a PowerPoint slideshow. And now this whiz kid let us know which of the nearly 200 schools vying for him came out on top.
Today, I am pleased to announce my final college decision for the fall of 2023. It is an honor and privilege to be accepted to the Ivy League, Cornell University's College of Engineering.
With teachers and generations of family at his side and in the room, along with local and national press, Malik Barnes said he's headed to Ithaca, New York. There he'll study computer science and one day go into software development.
I love my city, but I do want to venture out and experience new things and see different things that I haven't seen before.
His parents said he always absorbed knowledge like a sponge.
I listen to everything everybody tell me, and that's one thing that I think is definitely a strong aspect of my character. Start what you finish, keep God first.
And they said they played classical music to him, read to him, because leaders are readers. B1 was their most important lesson.
He's one that's humble, he's one that's honest, and he has integrity. And above all, I challenge you, Malik, to always give back, because the identity of a true leader is to serve. And I thank God and I'm honored to be called your father.
This is precious. I'm going to go back to this in a minute. I think looking at this success story of Malik, who is already in college at Cornell doing his thing, I'm sure he's just knocking it out the ballpark. Just looking at stories like this. So in my studies, when I studied persistence and I studied what is helping students to persist and persevere, I found that having that family support was huge, like a mentor or role model. And as you can see there, he had his father to help him, and his father's challenging him again, right? So having someone to not only look up to, but someone that can pour into your life and challenge you. I think that's great that he says he's a listener, and that does make a great leader, right? Having those great active listening skills. But to think of the grit this child had, I mean, all those scholarships that he had, and to be accepted in over, I think they said 200, to be accepted in over 200 universities is a huge accomplishment. So let's keep watching his story and to see how this goes. I absolutely love it because he wants to do computer science or something like that. And I'm sure he is going to do a phenomenal job. So let's, $1 million in scholarships. 10 million.
The tables held just some of the acceptance letters to 100.
This is amazing because he could have sat home his senior year, done nothing. This child was busy. 10 million scholarship offers.
88 schools.
88 schools. I'm sorry, I know I keep pausing, but this is amazing. 88. Can you imagine applying to 88 schools? The type of grit and resilience this child had to have.
Represent $10.1 million in scholarships. It's a U.S. record. He's only 16 and graduating from the International High School of New Orleans after 3 years.
Wow.
He fielded questions in Spanish as well as grown-up questions with gravitas about artificial intelligence and teens who are on the wrong path in life.
Continue to encourage them to move forward and to do what they want to do. Everybody has a goal for themselves. Continue to motivate them. Invest more into our students.
And a very proud mother summed it up as every mom does when they leave the nest.
I am a little sad that he's going away so far because I'm gonna miss my baby now.
All right, that was great. Oh, congratulations to them. But just to know, he even said motivate your students. Everyone has a goal, so finding out what that goal is, and then of course, when students own that goal and you're able to create that sense of that buy-in for students, then they take off like Malik. And then of course, like I said, once they're gritty, they surpass the goals that you've established for them. I'm sure he probably was like, let me see if I can get my college paid for first. And then he's probably like, well, let me see if I can get $1 million in scholarships. Oh, well, I got $1 million. Okay, let's see if I can get $2 million. And then it just kept going to now where he was able to get $10 million in scholarships. So wonderful. That's great because he doesn't have to pay that money back, and he can go on and pay it forward and do whatever he needs to do to continue to move forward and, break different cycles, around the nation. So with that said, now let's look at another example. I thought that was absolutely fabulous. Let's look at another example of a student who persevered. So I want to read this with you. So this Georgia teen, she earned an associate's degree. She earned an associate's degree before her high school diploma. Now that is grit. It says the high school scholar was honored by Savannah's Frank Collin Boys and Girls Club as Youth of the Year, and she's been accepted into at least 9 colleges. Excellent. At just the age of 17 years old, Georgia's Neely Scott, she earned an associate's degree from Savannah State University nearly a month before she received a diploma from Savannah Arts Academy. Okay, excellent. It says Scott's achievement is more impressive as she balanced accelerated college coursework with her high school studies, extracurricular activities, and a job at the Boys and Girls Club. It was no easy task. Definitely some classes gave me a little more of a challenge than others, is what she said. She graduated this year, May 20th. She completed both her high school diploma and her degree with honors. She was able to complete the first half of her associate degree credits for free under Georgia's dual enrollment program, where they fund the first 30 semester hours of college credits for students. So if you're in the Georgia area and you have a high schooler, this is a wonderful opportunity to take advantage of. And then she says, for Scott, it says it was an opportunity she could not pass up. So she says, I really just wanted to get as much education, a college education, as I can now for free. Scott's impressive achievements also included being Youth of the Year by the Boys and Girls Club, where she usually worked after school before dance rehearsals. She also was in dance, wow, where she dances competitively. On April 17th, Instagram post from Boys and Girls Club congratulated her, noting that she's already been accepted to Clark, Atlanta, Florida A&M, Georgia State, some other ones here, Howard, Penn State, UMass, Rutgers, some other ones. That's amazing. That's amazing. Dreams to become a cardiothoracic surgeon with plans to work in an inner hospital. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Wow. An inner city hospital. She likes to give back to the youth of Savannah or wherever she leads in her life. So that was an absolutely wonderful article. Fabulous. And I'm so proud of her and the grit. Just to know that she already has a college degree, so she's halfway there. So now she only needs 2 years, and I think that's great. She obviously has a lot of grit. And she's been thinking, if I have to be, pretty much a heart surgeon, well, then I'm going to be in school for quite a bit. So how can I take advantage? So she's already like counting the cost and seeing what it is that she needs to do, in this role, when she goes into medical school. So she's looking at time management. She knew how much resilience she needed to have and how long she needed to persevere for. She has outlined the timing pretty well, and I'm very proud of her. And I know that you guys are too. So now let's look at another awesome story to 122 colleges with $5.3 million in scholarships. That alone, I mean, we don't even have to continue. Look at this child buried in scholarships and college acceptance. So this was written on May 18th this year. Wow. Oh my goodness. Again, let's read that again. He's accepted into 122 colleges. Wow. With $5.3 million in scholarships. So his name is Helms Atega. Helms Atega is what it looks like his name is. He's in Oakland, California. Absolutely fabulous. Look at him. So it says he wanted to be a pop star, but when his dad told him that he planned to pursue a music degree after his graduation next month after high school, his father wasn't exactly thrilled. So again, he wants to be a pop star, but when he told his dad that he planned to pursue a music degree after his graduation next month, his father wasn't exactly thrilled. I think that's great that he's doing that because he understands that if you're trying to be a pop star and you're wanting music to be that avenue, you have to understand the world of music, right? So I think it's great. So it says, last fall, the Oakland, California teenager took a different approach. He started applying to colleges, more than 150. So this is great because he set the bar high. So he's like, I'm going to apply to 150 colleges and we'll see where the cookies crumble. So the trickle-in effect, a flood came and there were 122 of them, along with 5.3 million in proposed grants and scholarship offers. CNN has viewed the acceptance letters. I wonder what that process was like. That's phenomenal. All right, so let's keep reading here about this gritty student. His father says he's proud of Helms' 3.94 GPA. There's that grit, and hoped that his son would pick a career with financial stability like medicine or computer technology, or maybe Helms might follow his own footsteps as a mechanical engineer graduate from the University of California, Berkeley. But as he watched the mountain of acceptance letters, in his son's room get bigger with every mail delivery. OMG, this is amazing. Chris Atega's hope dimmed. The messages on the multicolored envelopes beckoned with undeniable enthusiasm. You're in, one said. Our family welcomes your family, another read another. So it says, he's confident that music is what he wants to do. It would be a disservice for me to guide him. Now that is great parenting. I'm happy we're reading this because so many times as parents, you could be tempted to say, oh, well, I did this, so my child automatically has to do this, or I wasn't able to do this, so my child has to live out my fantasy and do ABC. This dad was able to surrender his hopes of what he thought success would look like for his child and let his child naturally evolve into what it is that he wanted to be. And that is beautiful that he was able to reharness his energies and desires to support his son. So I want to encourage all parents out there and guardians to do what you can to support the child if they are definitely pursuing a successful path, even though it might not be the path that you want, to still support them, because they might be walking in their destiny and it might not look the way you thought it would. So I think it's great that the dad is supporting him this way. Now, he had a key requirement for the colleges that he applied to. Helms' life revolved around music. So at Head Royce High School in Oakland, he's a part of a cappella group, or an a cappella group, that meets every week to belt out covers of popular music. His room is stacked with CDs by Beyonce, Prince, and Bruno Mars. Before he starts college in the fall, he's taking a summer trip to Peru with a choir to perform in churches and communities. Beautiful. So he's like paying it forward. He says, I live for music. I spend most of my time either listening to music, making music, or out there performing. Excellent. He says, I feel most alive and fulfilled when I'm doing something related to music. So when he started his college application journey, he had one key requirement. The schools needed to have a strong music program. Wow. Fabulous. There he is. Look at him. Amazing. It says he mostly used university online portals for his applications, which made it easier to copy and paste his information to multiple places. His father paid the application fee. Whew! That's a lot, required by some universities. Helms spent many hours writing essays for different schools, although most were variations of the same personal story. In his essays, he highlighted his passion for music and background as an immigrant. A small group of schools, including Brown, Wesleyan, and Colgate, rejected him or placed him on their waiting list. But the much longer of list that said yes spans the country, from big state to small private colleges: Bard College, Drexel, Howard, Loyola, Marymount, Sarah Lawrence College, and yes, UC Berkeley. Right. He moved to the U.S. just before the pandemic shut down everything. Oh, my word. Can you imagine? It says he immigrated to the U.S. from his homeland in Uganda in the late 2000s to attend the University of California, Berkeley. He left Helms with his mother in the western Ugandan town of Fort Portal, where he lived until he joined his father in California 5 years ago. Wow. So he's only been with his dad 5 years ago and was able to pull this type of grit to get into these colleges. It says soon after Helms came to the U.S. in 2019, the world largely shut down, right? And it says he attended his new school via Zoom. Oh my goodness. And missed out on interacting with others and learning the nuances of American culture. As a result, he wasn't sure his college applications would resonate or meet a lot of requirements. So he says, I gave it all. That's grit right here. I gave it all with my application process. He gave it all. He put himself out there. That was it. He says he reached out to schools to make sure they received his application. I told you guys in one of my other episodes, you've got to bug them, and made sure I gave my essays my best shot. But I did not expect so many schools to say yes. So I was not prepared. His modern drama teacher, Ricky Lapidus, is not surprised he received so many offers. Helms loves learning. He's interested in other people as much as he is in grades. That's powerful. He says he's deeply empathetic. Love it. And that's how he approaches school. How do I learn more so I can understand others more? So that's what makes him stand out. And then it says here, he used his father's words against him. So it says, Helms spent the past few months studying the websites and social media accounts of the schools that accepted him. He's watched videos of their music programs on YouTube and TikTok. Look at that. For you colleges out there, they're watching. So he watched programs of music videos on their YouTube and TikTok to get a sense of where he fits in. And most importantly, he has candid conversations with his father about the realities of a career in music. Look at that. He's an immigrant parent, or as an immigrant parent, I was thinking, how are you going to pay your bills? Now, in my studies, it did show that, when you're looking to see why students persist or why they don't, one of the factors that helped was having that financial support. And that is unfortunately one reason as well, when you don't have that support, why students won't persist in school. So let's keep reading. So he says here, how are you going to pay your bills? So he used my words against me. Through this process, Atega says he's realized he was viewing his son's academic quest through what he describes as an African immigrant mentality. An African immigrant mentality that prioritizes certain lucrative careers as makers, or certain lucrative careers as markers for success. Wow. All right, let's keep reading. It says his college choice has a connection to his dad. After months of research, Helms made his choice. He will stay nearby and study music at his dad's alma mater, UC Berkeley. The spokesman for Berkeley confirmed that he has been accepted. I created a spreadsheet and I wrote down the pros and cons for each schools and really tried to weigh my priorities, he said. If I would like to be close to home, what type of program each school has or doesn't have, and that kind of stuff. So then watching social media, videos, It revealed the quality and diversity of the programs which were offered, and that helped him make his decision. Very interesting. So keep going. He says, as an immigrant, Helms is a part of a growing demographic. Children born abroad or in the U.S. to an immigrant parent account for 58% of the increase in the nation's. They account for 58% of the increase in the nation's college enrollment between 2000 and 2018. The face of U.S. higher education is changing. Students are more likely to come from an immigrant family than in the past. So let's keep reading. It says here, college is not about conforming to the status quo. It's about ground zero for training leaders who shape the future. It is in college that young minds rethink the old and build the new for humanity and our planet. This is powerful. So it says he's going to follow his father's footsteps at Berkeley, which has an admission rate of 12%. So this is pretty powerful. Beautiful. And I'm sure that he is going to thrive as a musician. So I'm so happy to celebrate those scholars and their rock star achievements. It's absolutely fabulous. And so thankful for all of the guidance counselors and teachers and administrators and principals and superintendents, district leaders who contributed to the success of each of those learners that we were able to look at today. So with that said, thanks so much for letting me share that great success with you of the gritty perseverance of our students. And so now I want to just wrap up the show and just give you a couple of reminders. Again, this show will be featured on X Factor EDU Network and on Spotify. So just keep in touch with us and you'll see it. Okay. I also wanted to encourage you to follow me if you have not yet on Facebook, Miss India White. LinkedIn is the India White. Twitter is Indy Speak and Teach. Instagram, Indy238. YouTube is India White 123. And TikTok is Dr. India White. And Threads is also Indy238. There's a reminder again of the Grit Mini Workshop. Check it out when you get a chance on the Grassroots Workshop page. I think you could just search the word grit and you'll find it. I also wanted to just remind you to check me out when you get a chance at some of these conferences. The next conference coming up is SDTM, so I hope to see you guys there. There's also the CAMPS conference. There's NCSM, NCTM, there's ICTM, and there's so many other conferences. There's different district, professional development things that I'll be doing with some of you guys and looking forward to that. So thank you to everyone that has said yes and that has allowed us to join you. We're going to have a great time together. So with that said, thanks so much, guys, again, for watching Grit and Equity Talks podcast. And until next time, stay gritty. See ya.